If you get any disturbance, let me know. I will go to other room because my husband is another session.
So far, it has not yet started. So once we start, we will know. Yeah, you can start.
Okay. Section 3, physical heredity is destiny. Healthy or sickly bodies, unjust persecutions, errors of justice, congenital idiots.
Congenital idiots.
Yeah, congenital idiots. That is the born diseases.
Yeah.
The span of life, manner of death. Okay, so we are talking about physical heredity is destiny, healthy or sickly bodies, unjust persecutions, errors of justice, congenital idiots, the span of life, manner of death. So we are all going to discuss all this. Heredity is destiny. Physical endowments, habits, and traits may seem to be clearly those of one's parents, especially in early youth. Yet, ultimately, these physical peculiarities, habits of snuffling, what is snuffling? What is snuffling?
Habits of snuffling, just not being clear about what they are doing.
Oh, okay. Clarity.
So, okay, we have the answer. So no need to.
Okay, habits of snuffling, whining, blinking, walking with hands in the pockets, are traits like a tendency to baldness, defective sight, gout, clubfoot, or soft bones, are expressions of the thoughts of one's previous lives. Oh my God. Inclinations may be modified or accentuated by the tendencies of the parents, and sometimes close association causes the features of two or more persons to resemble each other. Yet, all was regulated by one's own thinking. What is called heredity of the body is only the medium through which the physical destiny is produced, the loom on which it is woven. What is called heredity of the body is only the medium through which the physical destiny is produced, the loom on which it is woven.
This is part of the form. No, this becomes part of the form.
Part of the form, yes. Parentage is selected because of the special properties inherent in the germs of the father and mother. Yeah, because of the special properties. Whether the new body is
physical destiny. So destiny, how can it be physical?
No, it is not.
What is your physical structure forms?
He means your physical composition of your body.
Features.
From the breath form, the physical features. The physical features, see, why do you resemble your father or mother?
DNA.
You are using the medical term, he is using those that form the medical term. The constituents of the medical term is what he is using. What causes it and how that is derived from the destiny. Yeah?
Yeah.
That is why he is calling it, that is also hereditary. But what is that heredity limited to when it comes to?
Physical body.
Correct. So there is a destiny even in the heredity. That is what he is trying to explain to us end of the day.
So even our habits and traits and features and all. Yeah.
Correct.
Whether the new body is diseased or healthy depends among other things upon the abuse or care that was given to the past body. Oh my God. Okay. So the previous janma, upon the abuse or care that was given to the past body. If the body inherited is healthy, it means sobriety, frugality, work in the past. Sobriety, what is that?
Sobriety means being sober.
Yeah.
Oh, sober. Okay. being in, okay,
Conscious state, yeah.
being conscious state, okay. Yeah, because people who are drunk, they say, no, he is in sober, okay. Yeah, conscious state. It means sobriety, frugality, work in the past. So they all depend on these. If sickly or diseased, it means that it is the result of gluttony, drunkenness, laziness, or neglect.
Of
A
the past.
healthy of the past. A healthy or diseased body is primarily and ultimately due to the antecedent use or abuse of the sex function. Another antecedent cause is the proper or improper use of food. Okay, so it all depends upon our past habits of taking food and also taking care of the body.
Actually,
Disorders.
it means, see, what he is trying to explain to us is the way you nurture
Yeah,
what you have today,
it affects in the
right?
future.
It is going to come. Now, here I have one question which has been troubling me ever since I read this page. What happens to us when we donate parts of our body in this life?
Donor,
Really?
organ donor.
Yeah.
Sir, we may get the answer of this also in the few pages when we complete this.
I don't know. I think we will, but I'm just raising that question so that all our attention is drawn to that thought.
Sir, I read somewhere showing that the characteristics change, or it can be the organs influence on the personality of the receiver definitely has an impact. Particularly when eyes
that
are
is fine,
transferred.
sir. That is because the way it is built, right?
No,
All
it
the
carries the
elements that
memory.
are there, that
It carries the
will
memory.
move with it. See, that is what happens even with our death, right? When we are removing it, those components go with it. What I am asking is because one of my Guruji, right? One of my Guruji, he said, one second, someone is asking for the link. आप पोस्ट कर दोगे कंचन जी?
Yes, sir, posting.
हाँ, ठीक है. So, my Guru keeps saying, donating organs is tantamounting to not taking care of this body, this life properly. Now, that he is coming from the religious or spiritual connotation. So, that is a question I want to park in our mind so that we understand from that perspective also. Ideally, I don't see, because all these organs are again built when our chakras are acting. Like there was a case in one of the book clubs where a lady's removed kidney, it grows.
Oh.
Say, a
Normally-
lady accidentally, she is in Delhi. She was sharing her experience. So the doctors had, then she went and asked the doctor, saying that you seem to have removed my kidney. He says, "Aapke report mein hai ki I have removed the kidney," because she has those. But through meditation, right, she finds that the kidney, a portion of it grew. So when she went to the doctor, right, the doctor was a bit surprised, but she continued, and over a period, they found that the kidney had completely grown.
Wow.
Right. This I read about in another group. She's in the spiritual. They were doing this Seth workshop. She shared that experience in that workshop.
Sir, here organ donors, there are two stages. One on death or at the time of death. The other, what you are saying is when you are alive, actually, and either one of the kidneys can be donated or part of the lung can be donated. Something that's what you are referring to. Not really
Sir,
the organ
actually,
donor.
I'm referring to death also. The reason I'm saying that is the last breath leaves the body almost 14 hours after death. The last, see, when you take the breath, you have got the 5 different versions of the breath. You have prana, you have apana, you have udana, you have samana, right?
Yes.
Among these, the last one leaves the body after 14 hours. That's what I seem to have read somewhere. If that is the case, from the spiritual standpoint, you are still alive when your organ is donated.
Not necessarily, sir, because the body is kept alive artificially.
No, but
the organs are kept alive. The organs
no,
are
the
kept
organs
alive.
are kept alive, you are still alive. Technically, you are alive, right?
But they don't consider that as alive because they can keep the organs with the liquids flushing in and out alive for a
that's
month
okay.
or so.
See, from all practical purposes, you may not, but from a spiritual standpoint, I will call you alive.
No, but there is no spirit at all, sir. It is just a machine. The minute the machine stops, we stop.
Sir, your soul has not yet left you, right?
It would have. That's my assumption.
It would have is different, but when I'm kept alive, the breath is still there inside me. It is moving in and out.
No,
By
it may
virtue of
not
a
be.
machine or otherwise is secondary.
No, breath may not be leaving in and out. They will keep the fluids going inside the body and coming out by a pump. See, your breath is functioning only when your lungs are functioning.
For the whole body, because if breath is not being given in, the other parts of the body will die.
That is
because
true.
Prana is the fundamental thing that sustains the life. I remove prana out of it.
There is no life here, sir. Absolutely.
See,
it is just the parts are kept.
Only from the brain point of view, he is dead. But if you really look at it, if I don't give prana, how will your component be alive?
Yeah, that is true.
I have to pump it with oxygen, otherwise it will die a natural death. The tissue will die first of all.
Yeah, they will.
They have to supply it. See, whatever equipment they are using, right? They have to pump in oxygen along with it.
Yeah, they probably do everything through a liquid.
So whatever I am saying, so this is just a question I want all of us to park. Right?
Because
I mean, we may find an answer, we may not find an answer. But it is worth trying to get an answer, because if we go and talk about this somewhere, this question will crop up.
No, the situation that I'm talking about is your heart is the one that is pumping for samana to be equal, to samana to be effective.
Correct. But if prana is not there, what will the heart pump on the basis of?
No, see, the prana needs to be pumped only by the heart, right? So if the heart is removed from your body,
I don't know. It's not I'm not an expert on that. If you are saying that is so, then I will take it at face value, and then I will do research and come back.
No, the reason I am saying is a heart transplant is still possible. There have been.
It is possible, sir. All organs have to be kept alive. Now, are they doing it without oxygen? I doubt.
No, I'm not saying without breathing. It
Sir,
is not without
breath is-
oxygen.
I'm only talking about prana. Prana has to be pumped in means from this understanding, are we doing the right thing by donating the organs is the question. Though I'm in favor, personally, I'm in favor of organ donation.
I think we are anyway, because it is, when we consider this as just a clothing, I am not this body. It is just I am donating my old clothes.
But then if you misuse, does it tantamount to misuse? Given this understanding is the question.
I mean, I
I
don't see
don't
any.
know, so I'm waiting for an answer.
Yeah, I don't see any misuse in it. I mean,
I
it
don't
is
know. Jagdish
described
sir,
as
what
old
is
clothing.
your thinking?
I personally don't believe it's a misuse.
Yeah.
Because what you are doing there is this. See, you have nurtured it so far. It's like nursing a baby and handing it over to somebody to take care of it further. Either you go to boarding school or to adoption or something like that. So now you say, my work with you is done. I cannot take care of you anymore. So you are welcome to go to somebody else. So in that sense, I don't think it's a misuse. But I don't know, spiritual science may interpret it differently.
See, that's just a question that I want to park.
Yeah, that's correct. See, another
See,
very
again-
interesting thing. There is another question that is coming up now because of this organ donation is becoming very common. I don't know, you've heard of the expression called the ship of Theseus.
No.
Okay, the ship of Theseus is a very big philosophical paradox. See, there was this Greek general, Athens, who was a very successful general or who was a naval person. So he conquered a major conquer. They said he was revered by everyone. So they preserved his ship. His name is Theseus, for an exhibit as a hero. Much later, many hundreds of years later. But then, because of its sea weight and all that, being on the sea for long, they had to keep maintaining it regularly. Like, so you have to put a wood there. You have to remove the barnacle, so on and so forth. So they started questioning: if you do this, does it remain a ship of Theseus anymore? So it's in the museum now. You go and see, is it ship of Theseus anymore? What he used was not that. You have modified that in several ways. Now this history has been extended to organs now. Now I'm running on a donation, a heart donation. Let us say I'm running on, and they say, look, I have somebody else by Jack, his heart. So I have Jack's heart. So the question of ship of Theseus comes: is it Jack's heart anymore? How do you say I'm running Jack's heart? How do I say I'm running so and so's kidney? It's not a, it's one on the philosophical paradox. It's being questioned on various other areas also. So when organs are getting donated, how do you say whose organ it is? Now it is part of your organ and your way. And spirituality, it makes a lot of sense because now your thoughts, your style, your is going to affect it, not somebody who has donated that.
Yeah,
Right?
but then it could
And your
happen
cells
both
are-
ways, no, sir.
Pardon?
It could happen both ways because the heart that has come, right? It is coming with certain paradigms and programs of its own.
No, that's what. It is
But
not
doesn't
certain-
it get
is what-
modified? I mean, your cells
Yeah,
are
but
changing.
over
right?
time,
So
see, maybe over
No.
time, but if it is not done mindfully, then
no. The philosophical question is this. The philosophical question is it John's heart anymore? You say I'm using John's heart.
philosophically it will be, but physically it may not be John's heart anymore.
I'm wearing John's heart. They say it's more of a expression because it came from John. But this is a philosophical paradox. People are still arguing on that.
Okay.
They're still
And
arguing.
they might be another way. I mean, spiritually, maybe the way they look at it spiritually, maybe with respect to what you were supposed to undergo or whatever. But you can also look at it the other way, that maybe you had made the contract also that somebody will come and do this for you and you don't have to suffer with the kidney, and somebody will come and give it to you it could be looked at it either of the ways also, that you were supposed to go through that, or it can also be seen that you had a contract where somebody will come and give it to you and you continue with your life,
See,
appreciating
now
what you
what you
got.
are trying to do is you already have got a round peg. Now you are putting a square, I mean, you've got a round hole. You are taking and you are force putting the square peg into the round hole. Dear ma'am, that is what we are doing by bringing in logic and all, because logic doesn't hold.
I'm not saying logic. I'm saying if you look at it, like if you're talking about the spiritual aspect of it, one aspect is that maybe even there we are contemplating that you maybe were supposed to go through this and you had chosen to go through this. So maybe you've also chosen with the other person that they will be leaving it to you, and you'll be able to use that and learn from that to appreciate the value of it. We don't know how it works.
I don't know. See, we are just introducing. So that is why I said we will park this idea.
Because if that was not so, if it's not part of your life, what plan, then it wouldn't be happening, right?
No, it will happen because you also have free will. Only 50% of your life plan is scripted. Balance 50% is for you to make mistakes and learn.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is somebody has willingly donated.
No,
then
even if it is willingly, is it because of his free will that he has taken that as an action? So that is the question I'm trying to answer.
Now, what I'm saying is there are always more than one way of looking at things. That's the point.
No, that is true. But the question addresses both the scenarios because it is looking at the Turiya part of everything. Yeah. ठीक है, आगे बढ़ेंगे.
So we are a healthy or diseased body.
Correct.
A healthy or diseased body is primarily and ultimately due to the antecedent use or abuse of the sex function. Another antecedent cause is the proper or improper use of food. Disorders, if they exist when life is ended, are brought into the next physical life at birth or later and are what is called hereditary. Does
this answer the question? Disorders, if they exist when life is ended,
we are not supposed to carry further, but we are.
No. What I'm asking is disorders, if they exist when life is ended. Now, what does that life ending mean? That is where the question is coming from.
The physical life. The life on the physical earth, isn't it?
But then is it the 14 hours or is it the first hour?
Yeah, that I don't know.
That is where the question is actually coming from. That is the reason I want
in this only your answer is there, sir. The question which you raised.
It is there and it is not there, both.
Yeah.
So for the elaborative answer and clarification, we need to wait for the another page to turn.
Yeah.
Such affections as soft bones, poor teeth, imperfect sight, and cancerous growths are due to the causes mentioned. Okay, but not taking care of the body properly. Blindness may result from many cumulative causes in former lives, like carelessness of one's own sight or destruction of another's. Former inordinate indulgence of sex may produce in this life paralysis of the optic nerve. Former misuse or abuse of the eye by overtaxing it or neglecting it may bring on blindness in the present life. Blindness at birth may be caused by having inflicted upon other diseases of sex or by having willfully or carelessly deprived another of his sight. So either we did on our own something wrong or we affected somebody else. He who is born deaf or dumb may be one who has willfully listened to and acted upon lies told by others, or who has wronged others by spreading a spiteful scandal, or by lying, or by bearing false witness. Dumbness may also have its cause in the abuse of sex. One of the reasons for blindness is that the sense of sight has its roots in the generative system, and the other senses are vitally connected with it. Wow. Roots in the generative system, they're connected. The sight has its roots in the generative system, and the other senses are vitally connected with it. Wow. The life of the physical body depends on the vitality and powers elaborated in the sex organs and distributed through the body. Eventually, man will learn that it is necessary to check indulgence and waste in order to give power to the senses and beauty, health, and strength of the body. Eventually, man will learn that it is necessary to check indulgence and waste in order to give powers to the senses and beauty, health, and strength to the body. Deformities, impairments, and afflictions are often blessings in disguise. They may be checks which prevent one from doing things which he longs for or might do, and which, if done, would prevent him from doing that work in the world which is his particular duty. Let me read this again.
No,
They may
basically
be
it's saying that you will be deviating from your purpose of life.
Oh, okay. Yeah, if done, prevent from doing the work. Okay, yeah. They may interrupt a tendency which, if not stopped, would acquire such force as to lead him into idiocy, as in the case of glutton or a rake. Glutton, what is the glutton? Glutton.
One who eats
as in the case of
one who eats too much.
Yeah.
who is overeating, as in the case of a glutton or a rake. These checks are designed to give the doer an opportunity to reflect, to recuperate, to limit the tendency to self-indulgence or disregard of others' needs and rights. Okay, so a doer is often saved from its destructive bent by an affliction which checks its ignorant beliefs in its own almightiness and turns into on the way of rectitude and honor. So by overeating, you are not saving enough food for the other.
See, if you look at it philosophically, it's a very interesting interpretation. Whatever is available is supposed to be for the benefit of humankind. It is not for you to hold.
Yeah.
Right? So, whatever is more than what you require, you are expected to give it back.
That's true.
Okay. Now, that is the hidden agenda of whatever is available with you. And it is also a test.
It is also
a test. Whether you are living by these principles or the lack of it, which will determine your progression from a spiritual standpoint or from a consciousness standpoint, from the universe perspective. Let us say I have 10 rupees extra. If I give it, it will come back to me one day.
Yeah, the universe will give you.
Exactly. Now, if I start criticizing, then, right, this fellow is always living like this. Right. Now, then I'm demonstrating a lack. Spiritually speaking, I'm demonstrating a lack. That lack will come back to me one way or the other. If I don't understand the true purpose. And, right, comment on it negatively. That's a thought that is coming out of my mind. I have to balance it. If it were not true, I will have to end up balancing it. That is my take on from this book.
That's why Gandhiji, he fasted, I think, once a week. He did not.
Fasting. See, if you really listen to Sadhguru and his explanation of Ekadashi.
Oh, that is for health purposes.
No. See, your body needs to rest.
Yeah.
And this one is also getting, so it is that regeneration system also needs a little bit of overhauling by itself.
Yeah.
Right? So the practices in the olden days demonstrated that they had an understanding of all the things, which are probably being questioned today under a different paradigm.
Actually, every religion has this concept of fasting.
Correct.
Okay, every religion has, so they knew how to do this. And I think it is reviving the concept of fasting today.
Slowly, people are understanding.
Not even now, doctors are recommending that what do they call interim fasting? They call it.
Yeah, I mean,
intermittent,
not intermittent.
Intermittent fasting.
Yeah, that has come because of the keto diet. Jason Fong is responsible for bringing that out.
It causes autophagy.
See, actually, I have been practicing Ekadashi fasting for several years. So I met a homeopathic doctor, and something I was talking there, and how, I said every time I do that, people say it's hungry, but the next day I feel extremely light and very nice. And he said, "Why don't you do it every week?" She said. I said, "No, that's not in my mind. I'm used to do it once in 15 days. And it's helping me a lot."
Week is the English way of looking at it, sir. Our calendar was divided on the basis of those 12 or 15 days.
Correct.
Right, out of which they show, see, every 10 days comes the 11th day. Correct. That was their logic. These people are talking week because they are going into the Georgian calendar.
Correct. No, it was very casual talk. We were having a casual chat, and it's told her that I think, she said, I said, no, actually, it's very interesting, but every time after the father, I feel extremely light and so nice. She said, "Why don't you do it every week?" That's not a doctor telling me this.
See, this is a very interesting point you are making, sir. I remember my grandfather would have 2 meals a day. Okay. And nothing in between except water. That too in a limited quantity. Now that 2 meals was so organized that around 8 to 12 hours used to be the gap between a meal and a meal. Now, when I hear Sadhguru, he says the body needs food at that cycle. It doesn't require a breakfast, it doesn't require a lunch, it doesn't require this one. But if you are a hard-working laborer, then you may need more than 2 meals a day. Otherwise, you just need 2 meals. And the kind of sedentary life we are leading, I don't think we need more than 1 meal a day.
Yeah, of course, 1 meal, yeah.
No, actually, if you meditate, that is what it is leaving you with. You don't need more than a meal a day.
That is true.
Other one you have to eat because the family members will start pushing you towards it.
One of the people I know, he eats only once a day.
And
he's very healthy and active and everything.
No, I am there. Present here.
So you eat only 1 meal a day.
I take 1 meal a day, and the second one, because everyone forces, I take 4 pieces of paneer, maybe around 50 grams of paneer with 1 onion and tomato and green leaves.
I don't even that. I also take one meal, but of course have breakfast.
No, I
Particularly
don't take
office.
breakfast also. I have
During
my
office,
lunch around 1 o'clock.
I also evening. I just at all have some snacks. That's all. But the point is, when I was working, it's so different. I had to have breakfast because my lunch, depending on what time I had classes, it was just a box of 2 sandwiches or 2 rolled chapatis. That's all. Only
In
after I
fact, you'll be
retired and
surprised.
after COVID, particularly I'm at home, I've been having a regular lunch.
No, and my breakfast, if I say it here, everyone will laugh at me. Even when I was in the UK, in the US, in the Middle East, in South Africa, all those places, my breakfast used to be 3 morsels of cold rice with curds.
Okay.
When I say cold rice, it is the rice that is put to curdle in the night to ferment.
Correct. Yeah.
Chadinam.
That is very nice. And it's really good on your stomach. I've had it
It has
quite often.
probiotics.
Yeah, it is.
In Tamil, they call it palaya soru. In fact,
that is
if you
palaya
go
soru. In
into
Telugu, they call it sadhyanam.
Chadyanam.
it's supposed to be very rich in a lot of vitamin content and
Yes.
even your B12, B and all, which you don't get in any of the vegetarian foods, you get it in that.
Correct.
It's supposed to be very good for the stomach and health.
Yeah, if you go to ketosis, you can take coconut oil. You take 1 spoon of coconut oil in the morning. My God, the amount of energy it gives you, you'll be literally shocked.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that on a humorous side, when you say that, reminds me of a colleague of mine who's much senior to me. Though he's no more, and he is very fond of his drink and he used to also smoke, etc. He never used to like my company because I did neither of them. But I was much junior to me. We had to, because of our profession, we had to travel together quite a bit. So once we were in Delhi, and we had to go out to dine in South Delhi. Those days, South Extension was much quieter than it is today. And they were waiting, across. We had an appointment across. We had to go to that. We had to meet somebody in a restaurant for lunch. So we were waiting there, and across that we saw a big carnival of the Brahma Kumaris. They had the show with all. So they just crossed the road and went through. So there was right from the beginning, the stages of meditation, what happens meditation, and then blah blah blah. All that scene was there. So went through all that. So his name is A.K. Rao. He's an Andhra person. Okay. So Rao is call him. So I used to call him A.K. I told him, I said, see A.K. He said, Jagdish, when you go back, you come to my room. You don't have to go all to this. One glass will do. They'll put you the same thing in Rao. Why do you want to go through all this? But he lived up to 90 years. Huh? He recently died. He just died 2 years ago after heart attack. He was very, very active. Particularly, he was a coach for all the PhD students. Extremely intelligent person, especially when it comes to operations, all quantitative statistics, operations, etc. All that. Brilliant person. Brilliant person. And with all his habits that he said of smoking, I think he had a head full of hair. He never looked older than probably even at 90, he would probably look like 60 kind of thing.
My God.
He has never taken these bad things as a bad things. He's always taken them as in a positive.
You're absolutely right. That is true.
That is the only thing that he has
never
groomed
spoke ill
himself.
of anybody.
Exactly.
Never spoke ill of anybody.
Yeah. Okay. Forms of grace and beauty are externalized thoughts. As to beauty, two kinds may be distinguished. That a face or figure is beautiful does not necessarily signify that the thoughts are beautiful. They are often quite the reverse. The beauty of many men and women in youth is the elemental beauty of nature, not the direct result of the presence of light of the intelligence. When the thinking has not opposed nature, the lines are well-rounded and graceful, and the features are even and well adjusted, like particles which are grouped together in symmetrical regularity by sound. This is elemental beauty. It is the beauty of the daisy or the rose of childhood and of youth. From this elemental beauty is to be distinguished beauty issuing from strong, intelligent mental activities. This kind of beauty is seldom seen. Between the two extremes, beauty of elemental innocence and that of serenity and of knowledge are phases and forms of innumerable varieties. When thinking is first practiced, the elemental beauty of face and figure may be lost. Then the lines become irregular, harder, and more angular, and this continues during the process of training. But when the doer is at last beyond the control of the four senses and its thinking is done intelligently, the severe lines are again changed. They are softened and express the beauty of peace derived from a cultured, balanced, strong, and virtuous doer. Wow. So he says the thinking affects the external beauty.
Yes. Yes.
Well,
No,
aging is
see,
controlled.
one is
Aging is
it
controlled by
affects
thought.
the,
Yeah.
see, it affects the way the components that we breathe in and breathe out actually settle on the physical body. That is the point he is making, right?
The lines and curves and all he's talking.
Correct.
Yeah.
That is the way as elemental body it is entering and settling down.
Yeah.
It is not subject. Look at the depth of that sentence. But as you keep thinking, right, those things are going to influence the way the matter is going to settle on your body or the physical frame. Right? Let us say I keep thinking only negative. I will create an element of negativity all around me. If I keep thinking I am sick, I will end up attracting that. That portion is the point that he is making.
I think he meant in Dr. Joe Dispenza, he did some Harvard study keeping older people in the
he takes
study.
them to a retreat and recreates the entire environment.
Yeah. Like right. 20 years or younger environment.
Exactly. Yeah. And not only their skin becomes taut, what they were not able to do the prior also
they're running.
Starting, yeah. So that is another way that thinking can affect you. Why that depth? The preface itself of You Are the Placebo is good enough to tell us what one can do with his thinking.
Yeah.
Right? He rebuilt his entire back.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah.
The limbs and organs of the body are instruments for using great powers in the universe. One may not misuse or leave unused the instrument of a universal power without paying the penalty. For each one has these organs in order that he may put them to physical use to further universal purposes and become conscious of the connection between his body and the universe. Okay. So that's why they say if we have hands, we have to help others. When these organs are misused or used to injure others, it is a more serious thing than it is more serious thing than at first appears. It is an interference with the plan of the universe by turning the individual against the whole. So that affects him eventually. The hands are organs of executive power. One is deprived of the use of the hands as a result.
Ma'am, 1 minute. Sir, what does this mean with respect to the question that I have?
Oh, now okay. In case the person who is donating has good views, if the other person who is receiving does not have the same views, there's a conflict.
There is a conflict, and then I'm sure you will attract the bad karma.
Maybe other way.
Sir, there is
Other way also
actually,
is true. Other way also will be true.
no, there is actually a book actually which describes the a Swamiji had eyes transplanted from a thief. And Swamiji kept wondering, when he sees something tempting, he gets the idea of taking it away. He can't really understand what is really going on in his mind because he never thought about stealing at all. So I think organs carry a part of the memory into the new body.
No, see, that is known as the cell memory. That I am okay. But
Yeah.
how does this influence the question that I raised? Let's reread it once again to see if we are getting any answer. Otherwise, we'll wait for a few more pages. The limbs and organs of the body are instruments for using great powers in the universe. One may not misuse or leave unused the instruments of a universal power without paying the penalty. For each one has these organs in order that he may put them to physical use to further universal purpose. Now, just trying to interpret. What has been his plan? What is his soul plan? Why did he attract blindness?
Because of misuse of his eyes.
No.
In the
Why
past
did he
life.
attract? See, in his soul plan, so probably there is a spiritual viewpoint that might need to be considered.
He needs to learn to take care of them and appreciate his organs, which is not done before.
Yes.
So that lesson has to be learned.
Correct. So by giving him sight, am I going against the universe?
No, if the universe wanted that, if the universe wanted that to happen subsequently, it's fine.
And also,
it has done the job.
No,
and now
that is a better interpretation, actually.
No, sir. No, sir. Hold on. How does the donor knows that his eyes has gone to whom and with what karma he is carrying?
No, he doesn't know. What I'm saying is to the other person.
He
That would be
doesn't.
the events could be
Does it
guided
need
by
to
the
be
universe.
bothered is what I'm thinking.
In today's
Probably if he
scenario,
knows, then he will be influenced by that.
that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. The thought is not interfering, na? Because nowadays we are keeping it in store.
yeah.
So when the thought is not interfering, then the donor is not getting influenced anyways.
Correct.
Yes and no. If the donor is alive, because when you say thought is not interfering, it goes against the grain of all that we've been talking about. The thought always remains ultimately in some form.
No, but thought will remain, but is it a manifestation of the other three things which has prompted the action, which is a balancing act?
Right.
Sir, one more question I came in my mind. When you're storing a heart, okay, and you're not immediately going to transfer to the other person's body, okay, so how many hours or how many days that thought within the heart remains?
See, to my mind, the thought need not remain the heart itself. once a thought
Yeah.
is created in a group, that is there, right?
Correct.
And is waiting for the right situation to come.
Correct.
So the thought need not remain in the heart.
Yeah, for that matter, it need not remain in the body also.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sir, but when you're talking about the donating the organs, okay, my body has left. That 14
So
hours
what?
of my prana has also left.
Okay. So what?
My organs has been stored. Okay, my organ is carrying some kind of
even
a
if
thought.
it is stored, are you preserving the cell memory?
So how many hours this self memory would be lasting?
No, this cell memory will last as long as the heart is preserved. Till
As long as the
those
cell is
cells
alive.
are dead and new cells are
Yeah.
replacing them.
As long as the cells are alive.
So every 3 days or 4 days, the cells regenerate themselves. Okay, they are
Correct. That
alive
is when they are inside the body.
Inside, yeah, put into the
But
body.
if I put you in if I freeze you,
okay,
what happens?
Then your cells stay like that until they are again
Correct.
brought to life.
compact.
Correct.
They can't
Correct.
regenerate themselves.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
No, also, Kanchanji, heart
Yes, sir.
transplant, I think it has to be done within a specified
Immediately.
time limit.
Yes.
They
Yeah.
use
I'm
to
not talking about
aeroplane.
only heart. I'm not talking only about the heart organ. Any organ. Any organ.
Yeah, some can be preserved a little bit longer,
Yes.
but they have got a specified time limit on it, after which they have to throw away the organ. They do that.
Yes.
Sometimes they store it, but since it fails or it doesn't fit as a match, they have to throw it away because it's already lapsed at that time.
Yes, yes.
So the next is when these organs are misused or used to injure others, it is a more serious thing than it first appears. It is an interference with the plan of the universe by turning the individual against the whole. Oh, sir, this explains why my Guruji, before he came and took my house on rent, I was surprised. He says, "Can I use your prayer hall?" Walks in, meditates for 2 hours, comes out and says, "I am willing to take the house. I have sought permission from your forefathers and the energies of this house, and they have given me permission, and I am now willing to shift." I never understood what he was really doing in my prayer hall, then coming and telling me I have taken permission. Now I am able to relate to it.
So how can you relate this? I didn't quite get it.
Elaborate, sir.
See, that's what I'm coming to that. Just read this. It is an interference with the plan of the universe by turning the individual against the whole, right? I built the house. I needed revenue. Universe was trying to give me that sustenance money by letting out the house. That was my intent. Now, intent coming from the other side, right? Intent coming from the other side says that he also wanted to see whether he was part of this universal preparedness to take that house on rent. Is that environment going to be in line with his karmic requirement?
So, sir, anytime if there is a taker, there would be a giver, no?
But then both of them, the energies have to balance. Otherwise, they are going to be out of sync.
So that is the only one reason, na? The manifestation happens and everything happens whenever there is a balance in the universe, isn't it?
Correct. But then he was coming from the energy field and how he was going to influence using his belief system.
And also, I tell you,
See,
the money.
he is a practitioner of certain beliefs, certain traditions. This one should not, it shouldn't be that he being a guru, he is actually a, what you call a spiritual guide for many. He walks into this house and he finds a lot of negativity in the house which is going to harm his practice. Who has dropped off? We were 10 people.
Now
So,
there
sir,
are 9.
we can take it this also as like your karma or your past life or anything was wanted him to come and look at this, to turn
No,
into a
see,
positive.
those are the things that he was checking. So in his meditation, then he came out and first question he asked me, he shocked us, saying, "Who is your Kul Devata?" I thought it was Balaji. So I said Balaji. He said, "No, your Kul Devata is not Balaji. Your Kul Devata happens to be Lord Narasimha."
Sir, can you just elaborate on the, Kul Devta, Kul Devi kind of
And see, I don't know how to elaborate. He told me that you are ancestrally, you are connected to Lord Narasimha and not Balaji. So now, which trait and all that, I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. He told me he is a guru, so I just accepted his question.
My interpretation which I wanted on this context is like, do we believe that God is there first? Do we have this Kul Deva, Kul Devta and Devi concept? That belief when we go to the temple.
I'll tell you, I believe in that.
Acha.
Okay. Now, do we need to believe it? Do we know or not? For me, that is the form of universe, which is the antecedent that I have had. My ancestors have been creating their focused energy around that particular deity, period. That is what I would interpret this Kul Devata, Kul Devi and all that too.
Okay. So one question more.
Yeah. One sec, wait. Let's listen.
Just can I add to that what you said?
Yes, sir. Yes.
The point is, this is one. See, I told you earlier that Vedic philosophy had no such thing like God.
Yeah.
Correct.
About 2000 years later, where the Puranas came and they had these legendary individuals, they converted into gods.
Yes.
But so how do you have to pray for this god? Therefore, the philosophers or the rishis came to say, no. They use the concept of Ishta Devata. Even today, when you do any puja, the Purohit will tell you, please pray to your Ishta Devata. It doesn't name any particular god.
Yeah.
Yes.
What happened was, as a family, when families grew,
yes, that is where the whole thing starts. Yes.
Yeah, they decided to have a common Ishta Devata. Though you and I in the same family may have different, but the family as a group decided, and that they called that the Kula Devata.
Correct.
Okay. For example, I will give you, if this is a more personal kind of a history. See, our original, we didn't have Kula Deva, we have Kula Devi, we have got Amba Bhavani in our family. So I believe that has been coming for several generations. But 3 generations ago, what happened was, there was some Navratri kind of a festival that was going on, etc. And these are all joint families, big family. Some quarrel had taken place. One of the women on that day committed suicide in the family. So the family head got so angry. He said, "This is because we are praying for this Akuldevi. Hereafter, she is not Akuldevi." And they converted into Nasim Devat. They are already in Karnataka. They were in Saunur or something like that. So they converted to Nasim Devata, become a Kul Devata. But later on, this is 3 generations. Later on, which generation they came and realized that is Amma Beni. So we have got two. So in our family,
Okay.
as well as Amba Bhavani. We have both this, and when I have to pray, I pray for both. To both. So this the concept of Kuldeva is the Ishtadevata as agreed to by the family. So you can break that agreement also.
Okay.
That is what
This
my understanding is.
So one more question here.
See, there is nothing. So when she asked me, do you believe? I said, I believe.
Okay, yeah.
Because prior to my guru coming and giving me the example, I never believed. So it could be an influence of the guru on my thought process. That's also quite possible.
Very possible. Very possible.
So during this Navratri, you can see that most of the females are, coming as a Amba Devi, or, that Devi comes on that body or something like they dance like some different way. They behave differently. And the people go and ask the questions and all. What is this is exactly?
Energy. Energy and vibrations. I will only put it that way.
Margaret Mead, anthropologist Margaret, describes the same thing. She had visited India and she looked at this and decided this, like you exactly said, you call it energy or spiritual. She said that called hypnotic spell, she called it. So
but when you are getting psyched by the high level of energy, right? When you get psyched by it, this is what becomes the outcome.
Correct. Now what she called it, of course, we call it energy. So what she said, you have got such an intense at that moment focus on that particular deity or any particular incident, your whole, the body forgets that you're a body and takes over. It's like a temporary walk-in of that deity.
Correct. And you will be influenced. See, they are so psyched by the qualities of that particular deity or whatever they understand, that they get psyched by it.
Yes.
So they are in a stupor. They are in a stupor.
You're right. Stupor is the right word.
Yeah. So that is what is happening. Okay. Now, from a physical perspective, we will understand it very differently. They will say, see, you're a Bhagwan hai.
Yes, yes.
Right. But actually, the scientific explanation will be this.
Yes, yes. Correct.
It's basically an experience that she is undergoing, but others take it like
yes, they consider
something that's meant to come for them.
Yeah. So we will continue with the hands.
Okay. Temple, okay. So there one of the person temple, mandir.
Okay.
Okay. So you can also check Rudanmale Mahashesha Nagamma Mandir in Panchkuti, Pavai. You may have seen also. Okay. So wahan pe hai na that Baba whose mandir is all about. Okay, Suvarna Baba. He had that kind of a thing, he came on his, so he just started taking out his stuff.
Not only that, Kanchan, see, but basically, what happens to you? See, you have been a meditator. Do you find a change between the time earlier, when you were a beginner as a meditator and today?
Yes, a lot.
Correct. Do you get intuitive solutions to your problems?
Sometimes, yes.
Right? So it is opening. That particular energy component of that particular chakra is slowly opening. You keep on continuing at it, you will achieve that status. Once your third eye is fully open, you can literally see what is happening today, yesterday, and tomorrow. All three.
Okay.
Right.
So when I was
their clairvoyance, see, their clairvoyance, their has reached that stage of maturity.
I got that. I completely accept it. But my mind was asking the question to myself. So
because you're not recalling this statement that I made. So your mind was trying to look at it from a physical perspective. It is not physical.
No. It's about, when I was there in the temple, my mind was, bent to the Joe Dispenza's mindset, okay? Like the scientific way. So is it your mind, you program your mind to do this thing?
Okay, what is your mind? If you are taking me there, I'm going to ask you, what do you mean by mind?
Your thought. You have given us so much power to that particular thought that you felt like that you are a Devi and you will be
So,
that way.
it is basically energy. You brought it into the energy paradigm, right?
Yes.
So you asked the question and you answered it yourself. Beautiful.
So the few people have the tendency of making this as a business. Money business.
That's okay. I mean,
that is different.
No. Don't go there and all, because you want to believe that you will pay me money and take that service.
ठीक है.
आप उल्लू हो तो मेरी क्या गलती है? ऐसा हो गया ना?
Yes, sir.
मैं जनता को उल्लू बना रहा हूँ. अगर आप उल्लू हो तो मेरी क्या गलती है? 10 रुपए की जगह 1000 रुपया ले लूंगा. मेरे को क्या है?
Ullu banane ka hi nahi, sir. I think autobiography of a yogi describes this very well. At certain stage of yoga, you will get some powers and you stop furthering yourself, come out and then encash.
Correct. And you will keep losing your powers gradually. That's also what you will notice.
Because, yes, you are not progressing. Yeah. So
exactly.
The transaction that can happen, you have the real power. It is not faking the power.
No, I didn't say they are faking.
Yeah,
but
you just quit at
but
that
then
point.
How they are using it, it will tantamount to faking.
That's correct.
It's again like that sentence we just read and stopped, no? Where we're talking about organs being misused to injure others, or even it not necessarily injure, it could even be to misuse another's belief. So it's like that. So again, you're interfering by being different from the whole. You're not including them in yourself. You're seeing them as different. So so again, it comes to the same thing.
Yeah, it is not the plan of the universe. It is a selfish plan.
So it has to be lost at some point.
Correct.
So even if they are powers, if they are misused, then they will also be lost at some point.
Yeah. So let's continue.
Okay.
The hands
are organs of executive power. One is deprived of the use of the hands as a result of not having used them when they should have been, or if they have served against the bodies or interest of others. Employing a hand to abuse another's body by breaking his limb, or by signing unjust orders, or employing the hand generally in acts of oppression, extortion, and crooked dealing may result in deprivation of the use of the hand for some time, or in its loss. Loss of the use of a limb may result from any kind of accident. Oh my God. Okay. Even signing a document which hurts others also.
Just understand what he means by the word accident here. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, accident, it can be, a fall. It can be a fall by, like falling from a height, or
anything.
Any accident. Yeah.
See, we call it an accident. There is nothing like an accident. Don't forget that definition is what I was
Yes.
highlight.
This is all the previous thoughts and previous actions.
Karma phalam.
Yeah, result of that.
Karma phalam, that's the only way. It is planned by the universe, but not necessarily by you.
Yeah, just give me a minute. I'll close the door and come.
All this very, very good. Let the kid.
Come to this.
So immediate physical causes are not the real or ultimate, but only the apparent causes. In the case of one who loses a limb by the unhappy mistake of a surgeon or nurse, the immediate cause of the loss is said to be carelessness or accident, but the real cause is some past action or inaction of the maimed himself, who is exteriorized by means of the, can we go down?
Yeah, once. Yeah.
By means of the carelessness. So even though
doctors are now being saved by this sentence.
Yeah, that's right. So we cannot, that's right. We cannot sue any doctor or nurse.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything. You had earned it.
No, you are making one fundamental mistake. What is that fundamental mistake? There is a physical law, there is a spiritual law.
Mm.
You are only reading it from the perspective of one of the laws, or you are applying one law from one country to another country effectively.
I'm just joking. You cannot tell like that. But from spiritual standpoint, we will consider that this is because of his karma.
Correct.
No, but then,
no. See,
because you are signing a document saying that you are responsible, whatever happens, you still take the blame, and all that, and the doctors are exempted from this. All that you are
only indemnifying that is possible in the physical law. But at the spiritual end, if there is an intent of a different kind in the mind of the doctor, then he is accountable for it. It is a thought.
Yeah, that is true. But if
but
it
again,
you know, it's just by mistake if it happens, not an intention. That is because of the patient's past karma.
No, but even there, doctor is not exempted.
No, he's not going to
no,
be
it can be of both this.
System.
It could be of both this being brought together to fit into the puzzle.
Because I remember
he has to go through this, he has to go through this. So both are brought together into the same arena.
I remember a long time ago, actress Sridevi's mother's eyes, by mistake, they removed the healthy eye instead of the cancerous eye or something like that, tumor eye. Yeah. So sometimes, the mistakes happen, even in the hands of surgeons.
No. Even though it may appear an accident, the real cause is some past action.
Okay.
That's what he's saying.
Yeah.
A surgeon and a nurse too.
It is in just payment that he is deprived of the use of his limb. A surgeon and nurse too careless or inattentive to their patients will themselves sometimes suffer at the hands of others. Oh my God, okay. A surgeon and nurse too careless or inattentive to their patients will themselves sometimes suffer at the hands of others. So actually they go through their karma, eventually suffering on their own. The pain is for the purpose of teaching how others have felt under like conditions, of preventing them from repeating similar actions, and of making them value more the power which may be used through the limb. If they do not learn from the loss, they will again suffer. So until they learn, they need to go through this. He who inflicts willfully injure upon others, who forces
injury upon.
Oh, he who inflicts willful injury upon others, who forces or invigilates. What is this? Invigilates. Manipulating. Okay. Who forces or invigilates others, that is manipulating others, into plots or fights where physical suffering results and who seem to be benefit from the wrong done them and to enjoy prestige and unjust again may live out of his life unharmed, but the thought of the wrong is still with him. His thought is not fully exteriorized from it, he can escape. So
He cannot
temporarily, he can escape at that moment, but eventually he will go through.
Correct. See, it is there, the thought. It's not yet external, so he cannot escape that. Right now, he may get away with it. But the thought remains and he will not escape. Yes.
He who is unjustly persecuted, convicted, or imprisoned is he who in a past life or even in the present one has through malice, greed, or indifference caused others to be deprived unjustly of their liberty. Okay, so probably what he is going through, he must have caused the same thing to others, unjust to others. He suffers captivity and its horrors of diseases of an enfeebled body of vitiated morals. What is vitiated morals?
Vitiated morals.
Immorals.
Reduce. I'm disturbed. Immoral.
Immoral. Okay.
Vitiated is destroy something. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Of vitiated morals, so that he may experience and sympathize with such sufferings and may avoid false accusation or causing others to be coerced and to lose their liberty and health. He suffers captivity and its horrors of diseases of an enfeebled body of vitiated morals, so that he may experience and sympathize with such sufferings and may avoid false accusation of or causing others to be coerced and to lose their liberty and health. Okay. And health. Many are today the victims of errors of justice who deserve this galling fate because of the wantonness. What is wantonness? Wantonness.
Yes.
Deliberate.
Deliberate.
Carelessness. Okay.
Yeah.
Carelessness with which they discharged their duties while they had power, sat in the judgment seat, or refrained through indolence or selfishness from doing what they might have done to bring about fair judgment. Okay. The wardens of prisons, of poor houses and insane asylums, the guardians of infants, in short, all in whose charge are placed the life, health, and fate of others, are held to the strictest account for their acts and omissions in the performance of their duty. Okay, the wardens are okay. The wardens of prisons, poorhouses, and insane asylums. So all these people who did not do their duty, so they go through whatever they have done the harm to others.
Yes.
Neglect, rancor, or venality in the discharge of one's duty will draw him inevitably into the positions of his victims, there to undergo the wrongs he has done or has allowed to be done to them. Escape for a day or for a life is not escape forever. Oh my God, that is true. Escape for a day or for a life is not escape forever. So if even if he escapes in this life, he has to go through the next life.
A special case.
A special case of physical retribution is that of a congenital idiot. His condition is the result of a past actions in many lives in which there have been only physical indulgences of the appetites, actions, which are all debits and no credits. The congenital idiot has, why is he calling idiot? The congenital idiot has no drawings account. All physical credits have been used up. He is likely to be the last appearance for an indefinite period of a portion of the doer in human form. So basically what he is saying, he used up all his credit account. So to use the debit account, he has to take a congenital disease. Is that right?
No thinker. Idiot means can't think properly.
He can't think properly.
He is
Okay.
likely to be the last appearance for an indefinite period of portion of the doer in human form. It could be his last life also.
Oh, so he wants to utilize all the bad karma in one life. Is that so?
No, he has already used. He doesn't have any debits.
Okay. So that is why they say Ramakrishna Paramahamsa and Ramana Maharshi, they have gone through the cancers because they invited the cancers to burn off their karma. Okay, before the last appearance, the doer has lived many lives of depravity and decadence in neglected districts of cities or in the country among peons, cretins, and the backward dwellers on mountain sides. Finally comes the last appearance as a hopeless idiot. The chief producing causes of this fate are sexual abuses, narcotics, and drunkenness. Okay, so the chief producing causes of this fate. So, such an anomaly as an idiot who has such an anomaly as an idiot who has one faculty abnormally developed, who has a faculty of abnormally developed, is the remnant of a man who has indulged the senses and the abnormalities of sex, but who has carried on the study of one particular subject, such as music or mathematics, and devoted himself to that. What is that?
So such
Can you please explain?
Have one skill. They have actually honed one skill.
Very brilliant in one.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they could also be eccentrics because they are very good at one and very bad at the others.
Actually, Eric Fromm uses the term called particular efficacy. There are people who are called particular efficacy. They are very good at one. They're efficacious in one thing, but they have a messed up family life. They, they don't know how to look after themselves otherwise, and so on and so forth. The expression is he distinguishes between particular efficacy and general efficacy. Both Brandon and Eric Fromm, both of them do that.
Actually, a lot of Nobel laureates have, even though they're great scientists, they suffered family lives.
Quite a bit.
That's quite possible. Yeah.
Idiots,
or otherwise,
idiots, congenital or otherwise, become so by the withdrawal of the doer portion from the humans as a result of opportunities persistently neglected or misused. With the doer portion goes the light of the intelligence. The span of life every human is already determined at the close of his previous life. So the span of life of every human is already determined at the next life. Is determined at the close of his
previous life.
So we determine in the past, before the death, in the past birth, past life, our future life, number of years also.
Look at read the remaining.
But the period may be sometimes lengthened or shortened. Okay, but it is not definite. The span of life of every human is already determined at the close of his previous life.
But depending upon what he has to accomplish.
Okay, but the period may be sometimes lengthened or shortened. The length of the span was marked on the form of the breath form at death, and that impresses the sign on the first cell with which the building of the new body begins. So what is this? The impresses the sign on the first cell with which the building of the new body begins.
Stamps, put the mark, stamp on the cell.
The length of the span was marked on the form of the breath form. See, what is breath form we all know, correct? That mark is there on the form. this form aspect then enters the mother's breath, joins the breath of the mother, and then, through the breath it enters the mother's womb and joins the mother's breath, and then conception takes place.
Yeah.
Correct. Now, he is talking about that at that moment.
Oh, at that moment he determines.
Correct. So that is what he's trying to say.
Okay.
The length of the span was marked on the form of the breath form at death, and that impresses the sign on the first cell with which the building of the new body begins. So that is that is the impression on that form.
Okay.
The form fact aspect, yeah.
Accordingly, a coil is developed in the astral body by elementals. Oh, okay. Accordingly, a coil is developed in the astral body by elementals. The
so
coil will let.
This is becoming the DNA of the new baby to be formed.
Okay. That's the coil. Yeah.
Correct.
That's the DNA. That has all the information.
Correct. Correct. Yeah. Accordingly.
Accordingly, a coil is developed in the astral body by elementals. The coil will let a certain amount of life force pass, namely enough for the span of the person's life.
So it will let the time pass.
Yeah.
And develop. Okay.
Enough for the span of the person's life. Yeah. So, but in case if he has powers, he can extend.
That he is explaining. He is explaining.
Extend it. Yeah. The length of the span is predetermined so as to let the person do the work and pass through the events called for by his destiny. Within the span, he generates new thoughts, does or refuses to do the work, make new destiny, and he puts off some minor events. In a general way, the course of his life and the salient events and the time within which he must finish are laid out for him, but he has choices as to how he will act in details and with what mental attitude he will view these salient events.
So it is a map.
So this becomes the free will part.
So basically all this also with
Sir
our
was saying
thoughts.
something. Sir, you were saying something.
No, what I was saying, this is mapped.
Correct.
What he said, what is all like kind of map. Now it is for you to walk through that map.
Correct.
How you walk that
So
map.
this is where the events is part of the script. Some of them are mandatory because you need to balance them, and the remaining become part of your free will based on the attitude, etc., with which you are born.
Yeah.
Correct.
The manner of the death is physical destiny and is already predetermined at the end of the preceding life. There is one exception, suicide. The mere disposition to commit suicide is predetermined, but even in that case, the man can choose whether or not he will die by his own hand. He may have contemplated the act and refused to do it, but if he continues to think and plan about suicide, the predetermined tendency together with his continued thinking will be exteriorized in the act of self-murder. So this one also is predetermined, the mere disposition of the suicide.
It's predetermined. No, it's predetermined in the sense he has a tendency, but he cannot. He can choose not to.
Yeah.
See, it depends on his free will. See, that is the role of the free will.
Okay. By committing suicide, one does not escape from the allotted span of life or from the sorrow, dread, pain, or disgrace he feared to endure by living on. Death by one's own hand is not like the ordinary case of dying. In the case of self-murder, The doer remains with the breath form in the radiant state of the physical plane, experiencing all it dreaded to meet in life, and does not go into the after-death states until after the allotted span of life ends. So that's why he probably, he does not go to the other plane easily.
Which is why in very traditional people say when somebody commits suicide, the spirits will be still
Hanging
wandering
around,
scaring,
wandering
hanging
and
around.
hanging.
That's it. Yeah. May or not
So
be true,
that
but that's what
lifespan has to be completed.
Yeah. In the next life on earth, he will have the same inclination to commit suicide, but coupled with that will be a dread of it. In that life, he is liable to be murdered. In no case can he escape by suicide that which he feared to suffer. The conditions from which he sought escape will confront him again because they are exteriorizations of his own thoughts. But he has to come out of those thoughts. Somehow he has to learn a lot.
No, the
from
thoughts have not got balanced and they need to get balanced, period.
Yeah, that's right. The physical body is the fulcrum. What is that fulcrum?
Fulcrum means
is
the point on
from
which it rests.
or at which it moves on the move.
Oh, I see. Okay. The physical body is the fulcrum on which thoughts are balanced. Okay. It is without feeling almost dead in life as it is after death. Decay, impermanence, and corruption are almost synonymous with the human body. It is the sediment of all the worlds, their dregs and lees.
And lease.
The dregs and lees. What is the dregs and lees?
When you have a drink, what is remains at the bottom, what is left over?
Oh, sediment.
The residuals.
Not the float, the residue. The bottom is called the lease.
The sediment called, yeah. Okay, the doer during its life on earth feels and desires through such a body, and after death, it is confronted with what it has felt and desired through the body during life. Oh, okay, so he confronts with the previous body. The activity and vigor, the breath and life of the body are due to the presence of the doer. The activity and vigor, the breath and life of the body are due to the presence of the doer. The involuntary functions of the body continue only as long as the doer and its breath form inhabit it. What seems to be a lasting body is a moving mass, constantly changing, always coming and going, and held in invisibility only when it is in passage through the shape of the astral body. Oh my God, okay, let me read it. What seems to be a lasting body is a moving mass, constantly changing, always coming and going, and held in visibility only while it is in passing through the shape of the astral body, according to the breath form. A human body, however, is the thing on which all is set, around which all turns, upon which all the doer longs for and hopes to have or to be centered. A human body, however, is the thing on which all is set, around which all turns, upon which all the doer longs for and hopes to have or to be centered.
Centered, yes.
See,
the doer
basically what he's saying is, right? Now, if I rest this on this finger, right? This finger becomes the fulcrum.
Yeah, it bends.
No, now, depending upon the thought, the desire, etc., the doer, right, will leverage the fulcrum to that shape, that activity, that experience, and so on. That in simple terms, he has taken so many sentences to explain.
Okay. So he has to manage it. Yeah.
Correct. And all those are going to influence.
Yeah.
That is what he's trying to say. Right.
Though a human body has no permanence or existence in itself, by means of the doer is put into touch
By
with
means of
matter.
it. No.
By
Though
means of it,
a human
by
body,
means of it, the doer, okay, by means of it, the doer is put into touch with the matter of the worlds and even of the spheres. Oh, okay. So always the doer is put into the touch of the physical world.
See, it
And
is
also
the
the
body, the human body, though it has got only a time frame of existence.
Yeah.
It is not permanent. But by means of the doer which is entering the body, it is connecting the worlds, right? And the spheres, which means, right, if we try to extrapolate that, right, at the Anahata Chakra, right, is where the spiritual entity, which is the universe outside, right, is getting connected with the physical entity which is below that.
Okay.
And one is influencing the other.
What is one is influencing the other? What the other one?
See, there is a spiritual part, there is a physical part.
Oh,
right?
okay. Okay, got it. Yeah.
Okay. And that connectivity is where all the chakras are playing a role.
Okay. Above the Anahata Chakra. And the below Anahata Chakra.
Correct. So Anahata Chakra is the mixer. It is the grinder. Right. So that is where the feelings, all those things emanate from. Yeah. So read this once again, then we can.
By means of such body, or I have to go through though a human body has no permanence or existence in itself, by means of it, the doer is put into touch with the matter of the worlds and even of the spheres. By means of such a body, the doer takes form, learns what its feelings and desires are and how to refine them, and what the feelings of others are and how to feel with them. By means of this body, the doer learns how to think. Oh, that is why he comes into association of others to learn.
No. What it means is he uses the body as the vehicle.
Vehicle. Oh, okay.
See, if he doesn't have the body, he will progress, but his pace of progress will be negligible.
Oh, this is the only way fast progression.
That is why the earth is a good school for pace as well as clarity as well as experience. So this brings us to the end of section 3. Want to continue or shall we stop here?
We'll continue for the next.
Yeah. So we will stop.
Yeah.
Right.
So that is why they say to for the